Mr. Speaker, sir, may I join the right honourable gentleman, the Leader of the Opposition, in congratulating my honourable friends who moved and seconded the humble address. My honourable friend, the member for Newcastle North, has represented his constituency for some 22 years, and it is a matter of great pride with him that he has always taken part in every debate on northeastern matters. The matters which he raised, particularly unemployment in his own region, are ones upon which he has occasion to know the heritage left by this present government. And I share his views that at this election campaign a very large number of young people came our way and supported the Conservative cause, believing it was the only one that would give them the opportunity for the future. I very much enjoyed the speech of my honourable friend, the member for St Marylebone. I must say, if he's going to do contributions of that very high quality, I'm extremely glad that he's retired from the bowling at Prime Minister's question time. I listened very carefully to his right and left and concluded from some of his remarks that he must consider that I myself am in the extreme centre. I shall watch with great interest. The success with which he treads the straight and narrow path between rebellion and sycophancy, but I'm sure he'll be extremely successful. Now, the right honourable gentleman... after one or two remarks at the expense of my right honourable and honourable friends, returned to customary hostilities. I might point out that, as he agreed, there are in our party a lot of outstanding members on the back benches. I wondered from what the right honourable gentleman said if he was short of them. I listened carefully to what the right honourable gentleman said on various matters of foreign affairs, as of course one listens to the advice of any previous Prime Minister. But the right honourable gentleman will expect me to take a similar course of action as Prime Minister to that which he took, namely to consider the matters afresh and to bring one's own judgment to bear upon them. I'm sure that that's what he did, and that is exactly what we shall do on the very serious matters that he raised. He particularly asked me about the question of continuing the existing programme for overseas aid. He will know full well that when a new government comes in and looks at the public expenditure commitments, very, very few programmes are exempt from that search, and I must be absolutely candid, as is my custom, this programme is not exempt. But I must also remind the right honourable gentleman that his programmes led to the biggest borrowing that this country has ever known. And has left the biggest debt round the necks of our children of any government to repay. And that the amount spent in interest on public debt this year is more, in fact, than the amount that will be spent on either the education programme or the health programme. That is the right honourable gentleman's legacy. He also commented that perhaps my right honourable friend, the Chancellor, was looking just a little bit mournful. Of course, if he is, it's because of the very great problems which the right honourable gentleman's government left us to solve, including the large numbers of post-dated cheques. Of course I expect the right honourable gentleman to continue to put the case in which he believes. But I must gently remind him that it did suffer a very severe defeat at the hands of the electorate, who thought it was a time for change, for new policies. And I note a number of right honourable and honourable members opposite dashing into print as to their reasons for the cause for the defeat they suffered. And I saw that the right honourable gentleman, the member for Stockton-on-Tees, wrote in The Guardian yesterday And when referring to the flayed the left, I believe he had every justification for flaying the left. I'm grateful to the honourable member. The right honourable gentleman wrote this of his own party. The party in opposition must offer a more positive appeal, especially if it is to capture the middle ground of politics. Well, I think it's a pity that he did not have a word about that with his own leader before the election. Because if he had, his own leader might not have fought his entire campaign on a negative attack on Conservative policies. But in any case, I welcome and agree with the implication of the remark by the right honourable gentleman. The Conservative Party has captured, and it now occupies the middle ground of politics. And we do so because we're offering people what they want. We're offering the people of this country the policies they instinctively favour and desire. Well, may the right honourable gentleman, the member for Stockton, ask, what is wrong with choice and diversity? Why should enterprise and opportunity be dirty words? I will tell him, there's nothing whatever wrong with choice and diversity. They are central to Conservative policies, and they are precisely what Britain wants and needs. And enterprise and opportunity have become dirty words in the Labour Party because the opposition has allowed socialist ideology to blot out both common sense and the economic realities of life. But far from stamping out enterprise and opportunity, we shall foster and increase them, because we know that without them the economy will wither and die. Yes. And when the right honourable gentleman finally continued in his article, above all, the Labour Party has let the idea of freedom be filched, we agree with him. But was that not part of the strategy of so many of his honourable friends? Steadily to increase the power of the state and erode that of the individual? Gradually to substitute the politician's judgment about what the people should have for what the people themselves really wanted? Hence the higher tax they introduced, hence the higher public expenditure at the expense of private, hence increasing state ownership, hence increasingly detailed controls through employment and prices legislation, hence the determination to keep people renting council houses rather than owning them. But then all of a sudden, the people rumbled what was happening, that the conscientious citizen under Labour was not getting a fair deal, that people weren't going to achieve their ambition of home ownership from a government dedicated to extending its power over their lives. That public ownership was a misnomer. They didn't own any of the nationalised industries and couldn't get at those who ran them. The people got a better deal from competition than from state monopoly. That Britain's economic decline had something to do with the fact that the skilled weren't getting fair differentials and the exceptionally talented were not allowed fair rewards. And that the full magnitude of our decline has been concealed by North Sea oil. They also knew that you can't sufficiently help the unfortunate members of society unless you give sufficient opportunity to the able. And so the choice before the people was to take further strides in the direction of the corporatist, all-powerful state, or to restore the balance in favour of the individual. The Labour Party stood for the former. We offered the latter. The difference is clear-cut, because we steadily put it across during the campaign. It was indeed a watershed election, and the result was decisive. With a difference of some 2 million votes between the two major parties, the largest difference since 1935. Mr. Speaker, sir, the gracious speech sets out some of the policies designed to implement the views we expounded during the election. I will examine the proposals under 5 different heads. First, to restore the economic balance of society. Second, to restore choice. Third, the law and order provisions.